The following is a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. Hollywood Redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live, Black Sports Weekly, featuring weekly in-depth interviews with some of today's most talked about athletes. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood Redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host of Black Hollywood Live, Black Sports Weekly.
Yeah.
Oh, it just got turned down. I liked it high.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, you're not supposed to turn the volume down. Turn down for what? Know what I'm saying? Yeah, thank you, Justin. There we go.
There we go.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, sports fans, and welcome to another week of Sports Weekly here on BHL. I'm your host, Thaddeus Massey, and joining me today is...
I'm Charlotte Broadbent.
What's up? I am Kevin John. So happy to be here.
Charlotte Broadbent, Kevin John are in the house today again for another week, and we have a special guest. We're not going to be covering regular weeklies. We have the incomparable Olympic gold medalist, our first track and field guest interviewee, Keshia Kurtz, formerly known as Keshia Baker.
Correct. Thank you for
Yes, I got it right.
Okay, before we get into this, with that song as the opening song, Turn Down for What? What song gets you revved up when you're about to go
Smoke
into a
everybody.
competition?
Good
Man.
question.
That is a good question.
Nice question, but I really don't have a song. So someone's asked me that before, like, what movie do you watch? And I'm like, well, Notebook is my favorite movie ever. So I really don't have a song. I don't have a movie. I
hope you don't watch The Notebook before you go race.
Sometimes I really like that movie. I mean, sometimes, like when I was younger, I would just look at what the people did around me and just copy off them. So if I saw like, oh, okay, that looks cool, so I'll jump really high and kick my legs out a couple times and then load into the block. And then my coach was like, you need to come up with a routine. So then I came up with something. But I don't really have anything. I go with the flow.
Not superstitious.
No, not at all. Whatever I'm feeling like listening to, watching, or doing, I do.
Which is funny because if you look at pretty much every professional athlete now, you see them with their Beats headphones on right before the game or they take the field, always listening to something. So you're just that one person with no headphones.
I definitely have my Beats when they were giving it to us for free in London.
Exactly.
I definitely grabbed some Beats.
So you grab the Beats, you just have nothing on your Beats.
It wasn't even plugged in.
Oh,
She had them on.
she was out of mod.
But
I just had them on.
the music was going on in her mind. It was
Cord
like
hanging.
she has her own soundtrack.
See, that's how you psych out opponents. You know, they think you're in there in a zone, but little do they know you're just listening to nothing, you know?
That's really it.
You could just be crazy, and they're thinking, oh, wow, she's really serious.
I think so.
Yeah. Interesting.
That's a very good question, though, because most people have music that revs them up, whether they're working out, whether they're training, warming up, whatever.
Yeah.
There's something that gets people going with their game face.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, even when you're looking at promos for different, I don't know, whatever it is, for the NBA, the NFL, whatever, to get the fans excited, they always play the hottest track over highlights or whatever. So the fact that you're that mentally tough is kind of scary to me.
Yeah, maybe.
She is mentally strong, guys, like on another level.
But it really is, because a lot of people can get psyched out at that time right before you go in for anything, a game, a competition, a race. So to be able to be that mentally stable that you don't need anything to distract you from what you're about to do. And I don't want to jump into the interview too quickly before we like cover how you got to the Olympics, but what were you thinking at that? Well, I guess we can ask it later. But what were you thinking? Like, what was going through your head when you had the Beats on and you didn't have any music playing, and you're like, this is the biggest moment of my career right now?
Okay, so when I stepped in the blocks, really what I was thinking was fierce face, cameras in front of your face, look tough and strong, and then that was it.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Can real quick, can you just give us that fierce
I was
face?
just like, like no emotions whatsoever, just trying so hard not to laugh with just the excitement, like, I can't believe I'm here, like, you know, look like you know what you're doing. I mean, like, that was really just it. I was just so excited that I was getting ready to run at the Olympics. I was just like, don't laugh, don't giggle, don't look around in the crowd, and just watch, like, get ready.
Yeah, because that would make you like a horrible sportsman. Like you're laughing and giggling, and then you smoke everybody, and when they go, they're like, for real?
Well, time out.
Really?
I got 2 words for you that does that.
What?
Usain Bolt.
That's true.
You know, and then he gets in there and smokes everybody.
Yeah.
That's true.
I'm just saying.
It's good because it's what I love doing, so it's definitely exciting. So, I mean, I know when I step out on the track, I know I've trained hard enough. So, I mean, it's really just focusing. I already know my training's there, my weightlifting game's there, my nutrition game's there. So I just have the confidence. I just step on the track, gun goes off, I don't hear anything, tunnel vision, and I go.
Right.
Just speaking of, and just touching upon Kevin, mentioning Usain Bolt and all the finger pointing and whatever, there hasn't been a whole lot of showmen in the field of track and sport to actually feel the sport of track and field to actually bring that kind of attention to the sport.
Sure.
And now you have all this attention because, how has that affected the track world and the rest of the athletes and how have they responded, or how have you responded? How's everybody responded to that kind of attention? Because when you have somebody who's breaking records at that kind of rate, it kind of can bring the microscope under everybody and give everybody a chance to have some attention.
Well,
and,
it makes it more of an entertainment sport, like somewhat football and basketball.
Exactly. So, how has that affected you and everybody else? How's the tone? Has that affected the tone?
I don't think so. I think the main thing that affected our tone, is that we only have Olympics every 4 years and our World Championship every 2 years, and people don't realize we train every day and we compete every day. So if people just understood, no, we don't compete every 4 years or every 2 years. This is what we do every single day. Most people only take maybe 3 to 4 weeks off, if that, and they're always training and they're always competing. So if you were to go to Europe, it's completely different than the States. So I think that's what's really affected things. Not, it would be nice to, have somebody that has that, but if you're fast, no one really cares.
Yeah, you're supposed to be, I guess.
Right?
So, but okay, now what about behind the scenes? Like when it comes to like endorsement deals and whatnot, has that affected?
Oh, definitely.
Like, how the athlete is actually going about handling their business away from the track to monetize and capitalize on their accomplishments?
Little Jones. Sorry.
I think, unfortunately, a lot of the athletes think that they have to be number one in order to monetize and hone in on their skills and to do things outside of track and field. And I think that comes a lot from the agents saying, this is a sport where you have to be 1, 2, or 3. But no, really, if you're the 10th fastest in the world, that's still pretty darn good. So it's just, that competitive nature we have, because only first, second, and third gets recognized. But to understand that even though you came in 4th, 5th, or 6th, or whatever, you're still a valuable athlete. You're still a phenomenal athlete.
Right.
And, still feel confident and proud and go out there and network and establish some relationships with some individuals. So I think once athletes, get out of that mindset in track and field, then it can probably boost the sponsorships and endorsement deals and things of that nature.
Right.
Well, definitely, and it's like track and field, swimming. It's all of the sports that aren't team sports. That is that mentality that it's 1, 2, or 3, or which is not true.
Yeah, not at all.
Yeah.
Look, there's 7 billion people in the world. Everybody, okay? If you top 10, you're one of the top 10 fastest or whatever you are at that sport out of 7 billion people in the world. That's doing pretty good.
You're doing pretty good. Now, it's funny. Charlotte kind of touched on this as far as the it being an individual sport, and with the exception of the relays, everything is individual. And one thing that I've heard about as far as Team USA, and I could be wrong, that's why I'm asking, I guess, for your expertise in this or clarification, but are the athletes on Team USA as competitive individually versus team? Like, in other words, do they train with their own independent person or trainer, or do you guys all train together as a team?
So we all have our individual coaches that some of our coaches can come out if they can, because, it's kind of expensive to fly your coach and your whole team out there. So only a select athletes, can afford that luxury. But the USA team does have a coach. They do have trainers for the USA team, and you are open to use those coaches to help you with your workout, to time you if you need to be timed. But some athletes do bring their individual coaches.
So do you guys all train like together, or do you guys still train individually?
Well, we don't do the same workouts. So if you're asking, no, there's not like, okay, Saturday, everybody 200 day. No, nothing like that. We all have our individual workouts, but we all are at the track together working out. And for the relays, we do baton exchanges, and we do that type of practice for the 4x1, 4x4. And
So even though you guys are from the whole USA team is from so many different places, you do all come and train together all the time, or it's just around the Olympics, right?
Just around the Olympics and World Championships. So you're there for about a month. So, I mean, they have a set time like, hey, this is the times that you can go practice. Everyone loads up on the bus, and then they go and they do their workouts and their warm-ups and things of that nature.
Right.
So how do you transfer your energy from individual to team? Like that, that's kind of like, I remember when I ran track in high school, it was like strange. It was like, playing a team sport is all team. You play different positions. Everybody has their role. But then you have a sport it's kind of like, I guess, playing tennis and then going to doubles.
Doubles, yeah.
Kind of thing, I guess. How does that, I consider Olympic athletes, I don't want to say professional because I guess technically you're not professional. But when you do something, as far as I'm concerned, you're professional.
Keisha's like, let's get it straight.
No, right. We're professional.
Yeah, go ahead and clarify that, Keshia. You're training every day and you're going to the Olympics winning gold medals. You're a professional athlete as far as I'm concerned. Just that mentality, of course, at that level, yes, you have you're a professional, and there is a level of professionalism, just like in any sport that, of course, transcends from going from high school all the way to that beyond college. So what is that like, that difference of mentality? Because I was selfish, but your high school athletes tend to be like undisciplined, selfish. I'm like, okay, relay is cool, but I want to run 100 or 200 on my own, because I felt like football was like the team thing. And this was more individual. The relays, I liked it. It was still fun, but how does that energy work? Because that's like a transitioning of energy.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm speaking for the majority of the athletes that's never a problem. I mean, honestly, when you put on that uniform, it's really a special feeling knowing that you're not just representing yourself. You really are representing your country.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're all competitors. So at the end of the day, winning is what we all have on our mind. It doesn't matter who my partner is or what I'm doing, winning is our goal.
Right.
So I feel like it's never like a transitioning process. You put on the uniform, you know what you have to do. We're professionals at it. We go out there and get the job done. And kind of just the legacy behind the women's relay and just the legacy behind track and field for USA athletes. It's just like a dream come true to be a part of. So I think for myself, definitely, and the majority of athletes, it's never taken for granted.
And I would think that there's even more energy going into a relay because you're going from competing by yourself, it's just you, to then having 3 other people that you get to share this joy with. And you get to share the joy of competing solo with everybody too, but it's a different atmosphere, special, with more energy because there's 4 of you sharing this.
Yeah, I think so. Definitely track and field starts with the relay and ends with the relay. So I mean, definitely the highlight.
That's true. It does start and end with the relay.
Right? It starts with a 4x1, ends with a 4x4, right?
Yes.
Am I right?
Yes.
I think so. It's been a while since I
Good
ran
job,
track.
Kevin. Good job.
It's been a minute.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the relay, okay, and running the different legs, is there, when the relay team is being assembled?
Yes.
Do you guys get like the privilege or opportunity to say, you know what, I would prefer to run the 3rd leg. I think she should run the 4th and 1, or like you just have to go wherever they put you? Like, is there a preference that you get to say or do? Or
yes, definitely. There's the freedom. Everybody, you have the opportunity to speak, to say what you feel comfortable running, what position, depending on who we're running against and things like that. So yes, that freedom is there to put in your 2 cents. It might not always happen, but you can definitely at least, chime in. And for the most part, I mean, anybody can be at any leg. It doesn't make a difference. Like, the USA team is really so stacked it makes no difference where any one of us run.
You hear that? We stacked.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Even if they replace them, because in the 4x4 this past year with the men, someone was replaced because I think so. Not this past year, but in London. I think that someone who ran the first leg in one of the trials, I think it hurt his leg or something like that.
Oh, yes.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yes.
I forgot his name.
Manio Mitchell.
Yes. He hurt his leg or broke his leg. Broke his leg.
He hurt his leg like he had a boo-boo. He broke his leg.
Broke his leg.
Right.
Hurt his leg, broke his leg. It has the same meaning, okay?
He couldn't compete.
He severely injured his leg.
Right.
But he finished the race, which I thought
sure
was
did.
admirable. But anyways, I would say that to say, obviously they had to replace him, and they still did good. I think they got second.
Yes.
Because my man Antonio, I think it is.
They still did great.
Yeah, they
Not
did
good.
phenomenal.
They still did great.
They did phenomenal.
They got second.
They did, yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
yeah. You acting like he finished the race.
They still
He
did
finished
good.
on a broken leg. He just
See, what I'm saying is that
Kevin
even,
John, ladies and gentlemen, Kevin John.
Thank you very much. What I'm saying is that it was kind of to attest to what she said about them being stacked. The team is so stacked, even if someone does get injured or be taken out, just like that, they can put someone else in and still get second place. Almost first, but second.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
We say amongst each other that it's like a blessing and a curse, like because where the people on our team are toughest competitors. I mean, we're all competing against each other to make the team. And we always say, like, when we go through our USA championships, it's basically like the Olympics or like the World Championships, because we know in the end it's going to be the USA athletes in the final.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Which is, which I was going to say, because USA has just had a history for being so dominant, with the exception of Jamaica, the last maybe 2 to 3 years that have just been sweeping the sprinting events. But
Yeah, I'm going to address that in a minute.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
But USA, really, we have such a storied history when it comes to track and field. So do you feel the pressure on being on a USA team? Like, it's either gold or nothing. Like, we step on here and that's what's expected is for us to get gold?
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's the outside pressure. I mean, it's self-pressure. I mean, I'm a competitor. I never do anything for second and like nothing.
Right.
So, I mean, to me, it doesn't make a difference. Like, it's not really the outside pressure, too. But, I mean, it might add on to it. But, I mean, I don't train for second. I don't work out as hard as I do to come in second, third, fourth, any of those places.
If I took second in the world, I would be the happiest man alive. But then, if I took third in the world, I'd be happy.
But then, like I said in the beginning, it kind of takes for us to remember, like, okay, yes, I didn't win, but okay, I'm still, the third fastest in the world or in the U.S. or something like that. So. And
then speaking of team, you always accumulate points for your team, and then you, as a team, always, place as a team. So there is...
They count medals.
Right, they count medals. But I'm just thinking about, as far as school is concerned, like just in the sport in general, that, whoever placed, you got so many points for placing wherever, and then you actually adds to the total of the team, and then you will place. Like, you could win all your events, but if everybody else doesn't place, your team could still lose, even though... So there is a team aspect to track and field that goes into the whole, because you still want to win. You still want your school to win, like NCAAs or whatever. And even if you come in first in all your events, doesn't mean your school is going to win. So there's still like that team. You still want to, So that's cool.
Yeah.
And speaking of school, I mean, you went to one of the top running schools in the country in Oregon.
Sure did.
Ducks.
So when did you realize in life that running was for you? This was your career path?
My senior year.
Of
college.
Of college?
Whoa. Senior year of college?
What?
Senior year of college,
So
Pac-10, May. I broke the school record, and then afterwards, my coach was like, "Oh, you ran pretty fast. Maybe you can do this after school." And I was like, "Oh, okay, cool."
So time out. Rewind to high school. While you're in high school,
I thought you meant senior year of high school.
Actually, let's rewind before that, because I think because girls, they mature faster than boys as kids. And I remember when I was in elementary, there was this one girl who would smoke everybody. I mean, she was fast. She would outrun guys that were like a grade or two above us. She was tall, she had long legs, and she was fast. So I remember that and I had a cousin who was faster than me when I was a kid too. I mean, and I was fast. I mean, I'm just saying I had wheels.
Not the point.
Yeah,
All right.
Right. No, I'm just thinking that girls. So, I mean, my point is, you had to know that you were fast before. I mean, was track in high school? Did you already know you were fast, or was it something that
We know you just didn't get on track.
you just
one
didn't get on
day
the track
and
one day
smoke
and
some
smoke
people.
everybody? You had to know you were fast.
I don't think I was fast in high school at all. I played basketball. Basketball, my love, my passion, had it tattooed on me. Thought I was going to the WNBA to play basketball. You know, I thought I was going to make it into the NBA to play basketball.
Okay.
So, I mean, and then...
You and Brittany Griner both.
This guy
and
got
then,
jokes.
you know, track, like many things, was kind of the punishment for basketball. It's like, okay, you got to go through the track team to go stay in shape and everything. So that's kind of how it played out. And then I just did track through, you know, through high school because my coach coached the team too. And then
Now, what events did you run? The same events
I
in high
ran
school?
the 400. Luckily, I never had to change. I mean, they knew from the beginning I was a 400-meter runner, and they just honed into that. I mean, I started off running 61, 62 seconds, and now I'm at 50. So I don't think I was that fast at all.
By the way, for those sports fans that aren't familiar with the 400, it is the hardest race in track.
And it's still considered a sprint.
It is,
Yeah.
it's a sprint one
And
way.
that's why it's the hardest event.
And when you come around on that 400, like the last 50 meters, I mean, how do you endure like the booty lock, the thighs just burning, and all of that random stuff that because you run it a lot.
Yes.
And that's why I used to hate running the fours because of what you feel.
That's why I did run the 4. I ran 100 in the 2.
Majority
For those that have never ran a 4 before, it basically feels like you're giving birth the last 50 meters, okay?
Yeah.
It burns.
It's no joke.
Yeah. So how did you endure that, and how do you deal with that? Do you just mentally block it out because we know you're mentally strong? So.
I would say practice is 10 times harder than a track meet. So I practice every single day and I feel that same burn. Even when I lift weights, I feel that same burn. So when I get to the track meet, I'm like, thank you. I only have to do this once. So that's just it.
Like, just do it and get it over with.
But it is. It's all about the training.
Yeah.
And how you prepare for something. What was a typical, when you trained on a certain day just for the 400, what was a typical training session?
So mine was a little weird because I just graduated from school. So I was actually getting a double master's in San Diego.
Hello.
So my coach was in Northridge. So my day started at like 4 in the morning to beat the Sepulveda Pass traffic.
Wow.
And then I would get out to Northridge, be ready to go, warm up, train. My typical workouts, I would have 500s, sometimes repeat 400s, 200s. Some days we would work on speed, a lot of hills. Things of that nature. So I'd have my workout, do my cool down, get home, make sure I get my protein shake in, try to recover as much as I can, get on the road, and go to school. And that was kind of my life for 4 years.
Damn.
School down in San Diego.
Yes, I
so
just
Northridge
graduated.
Up here.
Yes, and my coach just transitioned. So my coach is Quincy Watts, and he's now at USC. So now I have a shorter drive. So
Quincy Watts, who's an Olympian himself.
Yes.
And a former Trojan.
Yes,
and he's actually an amazing track legend.
Yeah.
He's a legend just in the track and field world, and now he's a coach. So I could just imagine how you've been, that just receiving that knowledge, those tips, and just that somebody who's been there and done it. It's like different than somebody who's just a novice and has studied.
Exactly.
It's totally different. This guy has done it. Yeah, he's really qualified to do it. So what is your relationship like with Quincy? They call him Q.
Well, definitely. So I have 2 of the best coaches, Quincy and Reynard. They're both my coaches, and they both used to train together with John Smith, another track and field coach, coach legend. So it's awesome. I mean, like I said, I have a hectic schedule when I was going to school, and if Q wasn't available, Reynard was there, and they really just worked around me. Same thing with my training partners. I mean, I've just been fortunate and blessed to be surrounded by people that just helped me do what I wanted to do and what I needed to do, which was going to school, and everything just worked out.
Now, let's go back to school and go back to Oregon.
All right.
So when you went to Oregon, you didn't initially go there for track. You were a basketball player, so when you ended up going there, did you walk onto the track team? Or?
I got a small scholarship for Oregon, and I always had in my mind that I would walk onto the basketball team. So I was trying to do that, and then one day my coach caught me and was just like, this isn't gonna happen. Basically,
so you dribbling a ball on the side, like, it's like, what are you doing?
So when he told me that that definitely wasn't gonna happen, then I went through the process of, track, and practice isn't always that fun. So I definitely had to mature a lot. And Oregon was just awesome. I mean, to me, it's the greatest school ever.
They're world renowned when it comes to their just athletic program.
Yeah. So I'm surrounded by phenomenal athletes. Ashton Eaton, for one, was one of my neighbors, the world record holder in the deck. So how could I not, get into track and start to love, what I do?
The home of Prefontaine.
Yeah.
My dad went to Oregon. He tried to get me to go there. I just couldn't stand the rain.
It's not that bad.
It's just perception.
I can't stand the rain.
Yeah, I just couldn't.
I'll tell you.
Well, tell me what that was like transitioning from, because you're from Northern California.
From Northern California. So it doesn't rain that much. It's like San Francisco. So you just won't see the sun for about 6 to 7 months.
Oh, I see.
But it's not like a rain or, the state would be underwater.
Right.
It's just a bit dreary.
It's just,
it just appears to be like that if you're from Southern California.
Probably.
Yeah, then the psychological aspects is like, it's always raining. It's just overcast.
It's just overcast.
Okay.
You get used to it. I got used to it. I mean, I was there with a purpose and a plan and a mission, and I knew this was the best place to get that done. So, yeah.
So from freshman, sophomore, junior year, were you kind of just going through the motions, and did your scholarship increase at all?
It increased through, so when I finished, I ended up on a full ride. Freshman year, I can say honestly, I went through the motion, was still adapting, going through, basketball is probably going to be over for the rest of my life, and that was really hard for me.
Yeah.
So what really changed that is I came in last in Pac-10s, and it was the worst feeling ever. I couldn't believe it, because practice is still hard. So it's like failing school. How do you get an F in school when you show up every day? To me, you have to work hard to fail.
Right.
So that's how it was, and I was like, oh my gosh, this will never, ever happen again. And then I went on to win, the first one to win 3 consecutive Pac-10, now 12 titles.
Yeah, because at that time, it was the Pac-10 guys before, and now it's the Pac-12. It was the Pac-10 then.
Yeah, because they added Colorado and Utah.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
But you went on, that chapped your hide a little bit, and you're like,
Yeah, definitely.
So
I'm like, I'm here. I got to buy in. I got to do it. Track is it
But
for
see,
me.
didn't you feel like, okay, at the time when you had lost, you were like a freshman
Yes.
going against people like 3 or 4 years older than you?
Yeah.
Which, don't get me wrong. I mean, obviously you want to compete. You still want to win regardless.
Yes.
But did you at least give yourself a little bit of leadway? Like, look, I'm the little 18-year-old racing against grown women here.
I don't. Not at all. Because I know mentally it was me not trying. So.
Because you were still transitioning from wanting to play basketball.
Yes, and that was.
Want to be
really,
Marion Jones, Jackie
really
Joyner-Kersee.
Yeah,
that is true.
They played basketball, and they ran track. They're obviously great track and field athletes as well. So you were going through that transition. I mean, you have to be. I think that psychological and mental focus is obviously key, and she definitely has that since she doesn't need to listen to music to win.
Clearly.
So she clearly has the focus.
I think what it is that makes it difficult is, doing your passion. And it seemed like for you at that point in time, basketball was your passion, and that's what you always dreamed of. That's what you worked hard towards. So trying to have that same passion in something else initially probably was a little difficult, because it's like, it's kind of like getting out of a relationship with one person you've been with for like 15 years and just trying to get in a relationship with somebody else and making it just go perfect and things of that sort.
Right.
It's going to take a while to transition into that.
Yeah.
I have no idea why I use love as an example, but at any rate, I understand how it could have been difficult initially trying to have that same amount of passion and, fire to do track when, basketball was still the love, that. But anyways, it worked out better.
It worked out better, yeah.
Yeah, and obviously you got your head around it. You won the Pac-10 12 title 3 years in a row. How did you? So then you won that NCAAs. How did that? Because I know it's
so
in
track.
track.
The Pac-12 is our conference. The Pac-10 is conference. Yes. So yes.
And then you went on to NCAAs.
Yes.
And you did indoor and outdoor.
Yes.
Pac-10 12s, right? How do you do you prefer indoor or do you prefer outdoor?
Outdoor.
You do?
Yeah, outdoor is where, there's not outdoor is where the Olympics is at. So, Yes.
Now, I guess for our listeners, what are the advantage and disadvantages of running indoor and outdoor?
So indoor for the quarter I'll speak of, I mean, it's definitely, since it's a tight surface, you definitely got to get to the break first. So a runner that is strong, has the speed, powerful, that can make it to that break first, they can control the race. They can sneak out a little bit on the outside, make it hard for you to pass. So indoor definitely has its advantages, and a lot of people aren't in that best of shape. So it's a lot of times some athletes that probably couldn't make it in the outdoor can take the opportunity of running indoor, making a name for themselves, you know, winning some titles and throwing down some good times. So has its advantages.
So sophomore year when you won the Pac-10s, how did you qualify for the NCAAs that year?
Yes.
How did you transition from, because it's a totally different stage, you've gone from conference to then national.
Yeah.
How did you transition from that to get into competing mode for the NCAAs?
Well, I can say, so freshman year, of course, I didn't make it. Didn't even get out of my conference. Sophomore year, made it. First year making it was like, you know, happy. Iowa ended up having a huge storm, and it ended up flooding. So we ended up having to move a lot of places. Our hotel flooded.
Wow.
So I'm not a person that's used to storms. So I was freaking out, scared, lightning, thunder. Just not cool when it comes to that. And then I was in finals. So that was horrible. I ended up coming in last, running a time I didn't even run in high school. So definitely I've progressed slowly, and I have my setbacks, and then I looked at that and was like, oh man, I got to get it together mentally. I got to now handle schoolwork, taking my finals, and being in a national championship. I got to not be so scared of lightning and thunder and floods, but just not used to it.
But that's intense conditions, because you go from being in Oregon, and you said it was not so
40-mile-per-hour wind too, and I mean, running the quarter is hard, and then you got wind in your face.
Hopefully it was a tailwind.
It doesn't matter. You hit it either way.
Yeah, I'm about to say, when you go around, yeah.
So
holds you back and then pushes you, propels you forward. Right.
So I mean, it was a process.
So what did you go on to do to make the next year of NCAAs and then your senior year better?
Definitely school. I paid more attention, like, okay, finals is always going to happen during nationals, so be a little bit more prepared going into your finals, because they bring a proctor with us on the road, and basically we sit in a room and you take your finals and your exams. You try to get your studying in between practicing and things like that. So definitely I guess growing up, becoming more mature mentally and physically, and just learning how to handle those types of situations. And one thing I learned about track is we can never control the elements. We rarely get days where it's like calm. It's always going to be something. And even if it's good for us sprinters, it might be horrible for the distance runners.
Right.
So, I mean, it's just developing and understanding that's one thing I can't control. So be mentally strong and prepared to just take whatever comes your way.
What? Go ahead, Charlotte.
No, I was just going to say, so this all adapted you for how mentally strong you've now become.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's actually what I was going to mention, like going from school, because you've been in school for so long, and then you have this structure that you get used to and going to practice, and now graduating and going into the real world where you're like the workforce and you're still training. What is that like? Just transitioning that energy, because now you have a whole different dynamic that's affecting your day-to-day.
Well, between the work, you went to San Diego State, though, right?
Yes.
And got a master's.
Yes.
So was that a big, well, it is a big transition, because you went from Oregon, and then now you've gone down to San Diego, but you're commuting much.
I still lived in, I lived in Los Angeles and lived in Long Beach and commuted to San Diego and then Northridge for practice.
Good Lord, that girl's driving. If you guys don't, you guys listen to this, she was driving a lot.
miles on my car and just got it.
Yeah.
Hope you had a Prius.
Hybrid.
Wow. But that just shows your dedication to the sport, because there's not a lot of people that can do that and also succeed, because it would make a lot of people crack. Firstly, just sitting in the traffic, but then because I'm sure your legs tightened up as you were in the car after training. So how did you deal with that? And did you have to prepare food to eat in the car and your protein shake?
Yes, I always prepared food, and then just like recovery. I mean, that's when I really started to realize how much recovery, stretching, making sure I cooled down appropriately, warming up appropriately, how much it made a difference. Because it didn't matter how great I was that day of practice, if I didn't recover well, I would be horrible the next day.
Right.
So, I mean, that really taught me, like, okay, those little things do count, and they do add up in the long end, so pay attention to them.
Now speaking of diet, just how, I guess, integral is diet to training and things of that sort? Like, when is the last time you've been to, like, Fat Burger and just pigged out?
Well, I can say I don't really eat fast food just because it makes me sick. But
that's a good idea.
Okay,
good reason.
there we go.
But when you're in the kind of shape she's in, you know, probably looking at fast food makes you like, oh.
But I could say
nauseous.
too, but that I kind of don't consider fast food is Chick-fil-A and In-N-Out Burger.
Oh, okay. So you do cheat a little bit.
Right.
Of course, yeah.
Okay.
So I mean, my diet it's definitely good. I mean, but yes, I do eat ice cream. I do have some boba every once in a while. I mean, moderation is always key.
Yeah, moderation. So you ran the anchor leg.
Yes. No, I ran first leg. If you're talking about in London.
In London, you ran first leg,
yes.
But you ran anchor in college.
Yes.
Okay, so what was that? Was that a big deal, or just like you go and just do your thing on whatever leg? Because you mentioned that earlier. Like you just go and just want to win your leg and just do the best on your leg.
Well, I wouldn't say just do the best on my leg, but I mean, I always still, if I'm running, you know, for the Olympics, definitely team thing. Very proud, even Penn relays, to put on the USA uniform and to, you know, represent the country and the team.
Yeah.
And Oregon, I mean, to me, that's where I really felt part of a team. I mean, that it was awesome. I mean, everything I did for the team. I mean, I can say Ashton's wife was one of my role models. I mean, I remember one track meet, she does the heptathlon.
Mm-hmm.
So she did her whole event and then won all her events and then came back the next week for our Pac-10s. And then she jumped into every single event that she can jump in. And then afterwards, she did the relay. And just to see her dedication and how she did all those things so we can get points, I was just like, you know, I looked up to that. And it kind of changed me. And I'm like, you know, this is bigger than me. And I mean, Oregon was just a wonderful experience. I mean, the sprint,
Nike University, as they like to call it.
Yeah, right. The sprint team wasn't always the best, but always been known for the distance.
Yeah.
So to be a part of the sprints, like in the beginning, was just awesome, and to be surrounded by the women that I was surrounded by was just amazing. And to see them now, I mean, they're professionals still. They're doing very well in track and field and in their distance running. And then now Oregon, I'm like, wow, I wouldn't even make the team anymore if I was to be back there, you know.
I honestly doubt that, Keshia.
They're just, I mean, Oregon is just, they're awesome now. It's crazy, you know. We sometimes text each other back on team like, look at these women run. Like, it's a great feeling to know I was a part of that and to just see them be so successful.
Now, real quick, now that you're, you know, obviously on the team, you know, you got your medal. Now, like you said, there's people coming up through Oregon and all these other schools that are competitive. Do you feel that, you know, do you feel the competition to keep your space on the, you know, so you'll be on the relay team, I guess, in 2016 and things of that sort? Like, do you look at that and be like, man, I got to make sure I stay up to, you know, on par, because there's a lot of hungry people coming behind me.
I definitely. And I don't even need to look forward to 2016. I mean, my first competition, when I step out on the track, I know I'm always competing against a competitive group of women. So you always got to be on your A game, because like I said, we are deep. So any one of us, you know, any one of us can take it.
Right. Yeah. Well, real quick, because we want you to show us the world champion medal. And Keshia, by the way, is the 2010 track and field Pac-10 athlete of the year.
Wow.
There's a gold medal.
So this is so this one's from Daegu in 2011, South Korea, and this was the relay.
Can I?
Oh yeah.
Oh, you're in South Korea. That's
good.
Yeah.
Man.
And then, of course, she has the gold from the 2019. What was I going to say?
2012. Adding some,
like, if you're predicting
ages.
that.
Right. 2012 London.
So, yes, 2012.
So real quick before we wrap, I just had a quick question. How do the American athletes feel about the athletes that come here, train, go to all the American colleges and schools, and then they go like represent another country? I've always thought that was like weird.
That was me.
Was that you?
Right?
They always like athletes always. Yeah, she's from London, so they come here, they train with all the American. They go to American schools and compete in NCAAs, and then when it comes Olympic time, they're representing like Jamaica or Trinidad or some other country, and you're like, what? What? You're confused. A lot of people are confused. Yeah.
I'll say for me, I mean,
How do the Americans feel about that?
I understand that we're so deep, and if you see an opportunity to go somewhere else to where you might have a better chance, then hey.
Is it like authentic, or is it like, well, my grandfather on my mom's side was from Guyana, so what I'm gonna do is claim citizenship. I'm gonna go over there and boop.
I don't think it's too authentic. It's probably more like what you said.
Okay, got you. Is it highly scrutinized, or is it just kind of like, whatever?
I don't think so, because in the end, there's one Olympics, so we all see each other in the end. So no matter who you represent, just be ready to race.
Yeah.
Right?
It's all about
Get ready to lose if you're not winning USA. It don't matter.
Yeah.
In your eyes, who's the greatest female track athlete of all time?
Allyson Felix. I mean, to me, she can.
So you put her above FloJo, you put her above Jackie Joyner. You
said in my time.
I said of all time.
Oh, all time. They said my time.
Yeah, and well, Allyson Felix is a beast. I mean, she's phenomenal. I mean,
to me, she can do any event. I mean, to be able to be a 100-meter runner, to go to a 200-meter runner, and then do 400, to me is phenomenal.
I want to see Allyson run the 400 hurdles.
Possibly. Maybe when the 400
like, don't put it past her.
To the 8.
I just want to see Allyson Felix in person. Right here. Allyson. Anyway, okay, so where can your fans find you? You guys have any more questions? We got to wrap.
Yeah. I think we have to wrap. There's no more questions.
Okay, so where can your fans find you, Keshia, until we interview you again or see you again?
Actually, I do have a question.
Yes.
What team is going to win the 4x400 relay in the 2016 Olympics?
USA.
Okay, just wanted to confirm. Making sure we're on the same.
Thank you for that, Kevin.
Hey, that was a serious question right there.
You're right. I think that was a consensus already, though. Okay, so where can we find you until next time, Keshia?
Oh, yeah, same Twitter, Instagram, Keshia_Baker.
Okay.
Awesome.
You guys, where
And
can we find
Facebook.
you guys until next time?
I'm Kevin John. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at HeyKevinJohn or on my website, itskevinjohn.com.
Yeah, you can find me at charlottebroadbenttv.com or at charlotteb_TV.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Club Thaddeus and GQJedi.com. Until next time, sports fans.
From producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.
Thanks for watching Black Hollywood Live on YouTube. For more in-depth interviews and news, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion in the comment section below here. See you soon, everyone. Bye.